Hello YouTube, my name is Stacy. I'm known here as Flighty Rambler, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel today. Today I'm going to pull out my Smash book again and continue working in it. I'm looking forward to finishing it off so I can do a flip through of the complete journal. And then it's time for me to go through my stash of collage papers and other papers to find some things that I want to collage down on this page. Once I have everything kind of to the right-hand side, I'm going to take my collage glue, which is a mixture of matte Mod Podge and water. Then I'll just start my collage. And immediately I realize that the blue that is on this page is some Dylusions ink sprays that I had put through a stencil. I try putting a layer of hairspray down to seal it all, and it's just not effective. Dylusions ink sprays has a really strong dye and it just bleeds through. So I'm just going to grit my teeth and put down all my papers, and it's going to be a little blue, but it is what it is. I have plans to put more layers on top. Once all the glue is dry, I'm going to go into my collection of Liquitex acrylic paint. I'm going to pull out a beautiful pink color to bring out the pink from the background, and then a nude color, titanium white or titanium buff, and some yellow. This is a technique I did a lot when I was first starting with mixed media. I would collage on the background and then dot my paint colors and use a card or a scraper tool to just drag it down to add just interest on the background. It's still a favorite technique. I just don't do it very much these days, and I liked revisiting something that I had done a lot of in the past. And I really like how it looks. I'm glad that I revisited a technique that I haven't used in a while. I'm getting out my 12 by 12 scrapbook binder. It's where I store all my stencils by type. And I'm just showing you how I store them all, and perhaps that would be a solution for you. I use the 12 by 12 because I do have at least one or two 12 by 12s left in my stash. And it might be big, but it holds a lot. And through the years, I've ended up collecting a fair number of stencils. I'm going to choose 2 stencils that I created myself. That's right, I created these stencils myself. I used a wood burning tool that has a cutting edge and this thin plastic page dividers on top of a glass plate. And if you like, I can show you how I did it. It was an old technique back in the day when I was first beginning and was on a budget and wanted some more background stencils. This was a fabulous way to build up my stash without having to spend a lot of money. I'm going to use the floral on the right-hand side and the chevron on the left. I'm going to edit out all of the repetitive pouncing that I use with the sponge. I'm putting it all down with Liquitex Basics Payne's Gray color. And I love this color. It's a nice alternative to black. When I pull up all the stencils, I don't know where I'm going next. I don't know where I'm going. I know I kind of don't like the right-hand side, so I repeat the chevron pattern. In retrospect, now that I know where the page went, I could have skipped that step and still had a very interesting background. I feel the page on the right needs to be broken up. There's a bit of a mess happening with the collision of the 2 stencils in Payne's Gray. I'm going to get out a Tim Holtz dot stencil and place it on the spots I feel are a bit too messy. And then I'll repeat that pattern on the left-hand side. It took me a while to decide what to do for a focal point, and finally I decided to do some wonky flowers. I'm going to paint out 3 oval shapes, and then I'm going to use a baby wipe and some water to make them bigger. I painted them in a bit too tight, so I needed to clean up the gesso so that I could see more of the background and have bigger flowers. On the left-hand side, I decided to go with some birds. I have a couple of options, and when I created this bird stencil, I also ended up with a mask. And so I'm going to use that mask and paint it out. So I have the birds that are going to be nice and colorful, and the white in the background replicating what I did on the left-hand side. And I'm really liking how this page is coming together. After everything is nice and dry, it's time for me to get out my ballpoint pens. I'll start with the blue ballpoint pen and do some sketchy lines around all of the flowers and the birds, and then I'll go ahead and do the same with the black. I'm going to take the ballpoint pens and do some scribble journaling around the flowers and down the stems. it's time for me to get my Stabilo all pencils. I'll choose the black and the green. For the black, I'm just going to dip it in some water and then do my outline so that I don't have to use a water brush. And then I'll do the same with the green to create the stems of the flowers. When it came time for the sentiment, I decided to choose this old children's book. It's a book I show off in a haul video, my first Thrifty Thursday video. I'll put a link to that in the top right-hand corner. And I'm choosing this book because the text in it is huge. It's really large words. So I'm going to flip through and see if I can find anything that jumps out at me, and sure as heck, there it is. Because they were right there, I'm going to trim out all of the quote marks that I took off of my lines of text, and I'm going to glue them down randomly in my background. While the glue is drying, it's time for some splats, 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 splats. I'm going to start with the Payne's Gray, add some water, and add some splats to the background. Then I'll do the same with the pink and yellow acrylic paint that I had put in the background. I've made sure to dry the splats before I go in with my ballpoint pens to outline the 3 phrases. Can you? Can you? Of course I can. And it was just something that really resonated with me today. Then I'll get my uni ball Signo in white and do some really underlying of each of the lines to enhance them even further. And wow, I think it's a super pretty page. I love the splats and the colors. I like how I created the background and then blocked out my focal points. And wow, great find in that book to find some words that really resonated with me. And here's a close-up shot of the project. And that looks like that's it for this project. I'm going to thank you for watching. I encourage you to like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.